Now, here's Alan Sliwa.
106-96 Lakers handle business in Brooklyn. Take care of the Brooklyn Nets. They're 2-1 now on this 6-game road trip. 3 games left to go. Philadelphia, Charlotte, and Atlanta on Sunday. See how the Lakers do the rest of the way. But this is a good one tonight. This one felt like there was a lot more energy than some of these other games. I think there's now a incredible sense of urgency for the Lakers, just being the fact where they sit in the standings. Only 34 more games now after this win, and Lakers back to 500, 24-24 on the season, and Brooklyn falls to 29-18. We appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Everybody that's tuning in on 710 ESPN or listening on the app or on all our social platforms, we appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Throw out the phone number real quick, 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-ESPN. If you want to be a part of the postgame show tonight, definitely call in. I'll try to get into as many calls as I can. We'll get a chance to hear from Vogel. We'll get a chance to hear from Russ, LeBron, AD. So we'll get all the guys tonight. And listen, I know if you just look at the stat line for Anthony Davis, 8 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 of 8 from the field in 25 minutes of play, you might say, okay, well, I mean, how much impact did this guy really have? Lakers had a different bounce to them tonight. They did. And I'm going to give some credit there. Certainly there's a lot of guys that contributed. Malik Monk coming in off the bench. I thought Carmelo was great. LeBron is just so ridiculous in year number 19. I'll spend some time talking about LeBron a little bit later. But this team they're whole again. There have been a lot of excuses about the team, the roster, the guys in and out of the lineup, health and safety protocols like a lot of the teams around the NBA have dealt with, injuries. Well, your squad is back. They're whole. And, certainly for the Brooklyn Nets, without Kyrie Irving and without Kevin Durant, of course the Lakers are supposed to win this game. And I thought the presence of Anthony Davis, no question about it, had an impact in this game. He had 4 block shots tonight. So just think of the Lakers in the 17 games that Anthony Davis was out. How many times, I don't remember a time that I've been able to sit back and say, hey, AD, or not even AD, another player when AD was out had 4 blocks for the Lakers. That just doesn't happen often. Does AD need time to get his feet under him? And do the Lakers need some time as far as their rotations go and making sure, okay, hey, this is the 5 that are going to start, which, by the way, I was a big fan of the starting lineup tonight. Anthony Davis, Trevor Ariza went to the bench. Stanley Johnson was in play there. And then you threw in LeBron, Russell Westbrook, and Avery Bradley. I had a lot of people saying that they'd rather have Malik Monk start. The only reason why I like, or Austin Reeves start, the only reason why I like having Avery Bradley in there, it's more of a defensive presence. And then Malik Monk can come in off the bench and be instant offense for the Lakers. And the key is with players like that, as long as they get the proper amount of minutes, things are going to be fine from that perspective. But I really do believe, at least for one night, there was some impact from Anthony Davis just being on the floor. The real test and the real challenge is going to come, let's just use as a perfect example. Thursday night's going to be a real challenge. The Philadelphia 76ers playing some good basketball. Joel Embiid could be the MVP this year, and no one would be surprised or shocked. His numbers are stupid. They are truly, truly ridiculous what he's doing so far in the NBA this season. That's a big challenge. That's going to be a tough environment. They don't have their stars missing. When I say stars, obviously I'm talking about Joel Embiid being there. So that's going to be a unique challenge for the Lakers. And then these last couple of games after that, Charlotte's 5-6 games over 500. Atlanta, I know at one point I was looking yesterday, had won 4 games in a row. So that could certainly be one of those games in play as well. All right, let's take a couple phone calls here. I want to get some Laker fans' thoughts on how the Lakers did tonight, just kind of the mood. I do genuinely, I feel this way, that the mood was a little bit different tonight. And I know anytime you win a game, again, I want to make sure I emphasize this. Lakers are supposed to win tonight's game. The Brooklyn Nets with just one player, James Harden, their star player. Of course, the Lakers should take advantage of that. They did that tonight. They did a much better job on Patty Mills. Patty Mills, I think, dropped 34 on that Christmas game, so a big difference. Let's go to Aaron in West Hollywood. Aaron, what's going on? Thank you for calling in.
Hey, thanks, Lee. Big fan. Thanks for taking my call. I think this is, a good start. Obviously, AD comes back. He only gets 8 points, but 4 blocks, and I think that's the presence that you see the Lakers have been missing. Dwight's great. We got those big guys, but having a guy who everybody has to keep an eye on, everybody has to make sure that he's not going to get his, and then that opens up the floor for LeBron and Russ. And I think there's still a long way to go for the Lakers to be able to pull out the next 35, 34 games and get themselves into the middle of the pack so that they have a chance to make a run.
Well, first of all, I appreciate you calling in, so thank you for being a part of the show. They got a long way to go. And there's no, that's kind of the beauty of the schedule. I was telling Michael Thompson. So the final 20 games or the final 35 games for the Lakers coming into this game, 20 of them are against teams that are above at 500 or above 500. I like that challenge because if the Lakers are going to make some type of run in the NBA standings, which they're sitting right now, I want to double check because I'm not sure if Minnesota played today. So Lakers picked up on a game, so they're sitting in 7th place now. If they're going to make a run and try to get out of this play-in tournament, and they do end up with a 5th or a 6th seed, they're going to have beat good teams to get there. So I like the challenge in front of them. I'm excited that it's not against teams that are the bottom feeders of the Western Conference or the Eastern Conference. Lakers have the 3rd toughest schedule in the NBA. Their remaining schedule is the 3rd toughest schedule in the NBA. So I do think, Josh, we're going to find out a lot about this team. I do think tonight you could say is a step in the right direction. And I also think they have a long, long way to go because this is how this season has gone. You win 1, you lose 1. You win 2, you lose 2. And you look at their record, the record is exactly, they're 24-24. They're 548 games in. So I think there's certainly going to be a lot more proving for the Lakers as we play the rest of the stretch of these games. Let's go to Josh in Compton. Josh, thank you for calling in, bud. What's going on?
Yeah. Hi, Alan. Hope you're having a great day. I just want to talk. I saw championship basketball in the Lakers. That was championship aspiration. Anthony Davis being hungry like the 2020 days. I know he's going to have a great offensive end of the game, but on defense, he was contributing. Avery Bradley, Malik Monk, same with LeBron. They were contributing to this team. This is what I like. This is why I have season tickets, to see this basketball, see this. I just want to say I'll see you. I'll see you in the parade in June. I'll see you.
Appreciate you calling in, Josh. We got a long way to go, buddy. Let's why don't we just get through this? Let's get through the game against the Philadelphia 76ers. I will say this, and this is just kind of the reality of the Lakers season. Man, Laker fans are so hungry to have something to cheer about. They really are. I mean, walking into this year, just think about what the expectations were and how disappointing this season has been. So I think I tell you, if you go beat the Philadelphia 76ers, maybe you can go get a W against the Charlotte Hornets, it's going to take something like that. Michael was saying in the pregame show, when are the Lakers going to go out and win 6 in a row? When are they going to win 8 of 10? When are they going to win 7 of 8 games? They need a stretch like that, where they're 6, 7 games above 500. We stopped talking about this, a game below 500, a game above 500. They're going to need, obviously, a stretch like that, and they haven't had it yet. So that's obviously going to be a part of it as well. Let me squeeze in one more quick call here. AJ in Laverne. AJ, what's going on? You're on the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show.
Hey, Alan. I just want to talk a little bit about Russell Westbrook. He gets a lot of heat, but to be objective about his performance, I mean, the last 11 games, he's had low turnovers. Tonight was his first bad turnover night. LeBron had almost double the turnovers as Russell Westbrook in the same stretch. Tonight, LeBron had 0 turnovers. And in the last 3 games, he's been extremely efficient in his scoring. And, of course, the rebounding, which is such an underrated aspect of his game. I just feel like there is just way too much scrutiny. He's under a microscope constantly. But if you look at his overall performance and the most minutes played in the NBA, he is performing at a very good level. And I think with AD back tonight, you saw the advantage. 2 big shots by Russ in the 4th. His spacing is better. So for all the criticism he's getting, he's got to be appreciated a bit more here.
AJ, appreciate you calling in. And to be honest with you, I don't get many calls like that. I really don't. And here's a reality. I was so quick to send this tweet. I was about to. And then, I don't know, another possession happened, whatever the case was. Russ wasn't having a good night. And there was a point Lakers had 4 turnovers. I think at halftime, Lakers had 4 turnovers. All 4 were from Russ. And some of those turnovers, they are head scratchers. And you do say to yourself, all right, Russ, the team doesn't need you to go make an unbelievable play. LeBron is here. AD is here. Carmelo's hitting his jumpers. Malik Monk's having a good night. there's no hero basketball needed, and I think sometimes that's what hurts Russ. Just make smart decisions. You are right that he's under a microscope and he gets more criticism than he deserves. There is no question about it. There's been no player in the NBA that's been talked about more than Russell Westbrook this season, and it's not even close. You know what happened when Russ has a bad shot? I know he's had some bad misses. Somebody grabs that clip, they throw it up on Twitter, and everybody who doesn't like Russell Westbrook or just wants to make fun of a player that had a bad shot, it's everywhere you look, on Instagram, on Twitter. And I think sometimes Russell Westbrook doesn't help himself because he does create bad turnovers or he does make bad decisions on specific shots. So I think it's a combination of all that stuff. Okay, and we come back, we'll get a chance to hear from Lakers head coach Frank Vogel. Stick around tonight. We got a lot to get into. A good win for the Lakers over the Brooklyn Nets, 106-96. This is the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
5 breadsticks for my triple treat. 3 layers deep. 10 Cinnabon mini rolls to eat. And the pizza plus another pizza. Triple treat box, only from Pizza Hut.
The Rams are headed to the NFC Championship game.
And after one of the greatest playoff games in history, can you imagine? SoFi Stadium, the NFC Championship game, Rams-Niners. You want to be there to root on your Rams? We got the tickets, yo. Your only place to win is 710 ESPN, your home of Rams football. Listen all day Wednesday, a Rams Championship Wednesday with your chance to win tickets to the NFC Championship game.
This is the home of your LA Rams. 710 ESPN.
24 seconds with Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo, tacos or burgers?
Burgers.
Pineapple on pizza?
Sometimes.
Favorite cheat meal?
Pizza.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Favorite Saturday morning cartoon?
Kung Fu flicks.
Funniest player on the team?
Dwight.
Teammate who thinks he's the funniest player on the team?
Nobody really thinks they funny.
Your favorite superhero?
I'm a Captain America guy.
I mean, you got to match the initials too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a Captain America guy.
Game show. Highlights from tonight's Lakers game and your reaction on the Lakers line.
Try Pizza Hut's Double It Box. 2 medium, 1 topping pizzas, so they can choose what they want, and you get the taste you enjoy. Only at pizzahut.com.
Hi, this is Anthony Davis of your Los Angeles Lakers.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
It's time for Lakers postgame with Sliwa.
Now, here's Alan Sliwa.
Tonight's player of the game is presented by your Southern California Toyota dealers. We make it easy. LBJ, 33 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, 14 of 21 from the field. Plays 34 minutes for the Lakers. Also, let me give a quick shout out to Malik Monk, 22 points for the Lakers, 6 rebounds, 6 of 12 from the field, 6 of 12 from the 3-point line, 7 of 13 from the field. Sometimes I just make up my own rules on the player of the game. Yeah, got to spread the love here a little bit. Monk had a really nice game, and LeBron was just incredible as always. 106-96 Lakers over the Brooklyn Nets. If you want to be a part of the postgame show, 877-710-ESPN. Let's take a quick listen. Here's Lakers head coach Frank Vogel on the 10-point win against the Nets.
Your thoughts on AD?
Yeah, 24 minutes. We'll probably like to play him a little bit more. Hopefully we can get there. But it's going to be, there's going to be a build-up, and, I thought he really changed things for us defensively at the rim with his hands, with his deflections. Obviously not a big scoring night, but, his anchor to our defense is something that's been sorely missed. And, the ability to mix pitches with him being, a 5-man and a rim protector and then going centerless, when he's out is something that we envision will be really good for us and give us a great opportunity to make a a late push in the regular season and into the playoffs.
Frank, there was a possession. There was 80 gets percent of games, scores. Russ gets the rebound. That's sort of the vision kind of along of how these three guys could interact. It's just how encouraging were those moments.
Yeah, we haven't seen them enough this year, and that's what everybody has to keep in perspective. There's a variety of plays where all three of those guys make plays like that, but the big theme is, the defensive versatility that all three of those guys have, and if we can get stops and get them out in the open court, like you alluded to, we can be really dangerous.
Been more general 20 pass rate than first half. How much does or the questions and blocks about that team that you guys have done today?
Well, it's huge. The only way to put it, we're going to be dynamic in the open court, but if we can't get stops or we can't get rebounds, we struggled to rebound the ball tonight, but if we can't get stops without fouls, which is what Anthony brings to the table. He's the anchor of our defense. We've missed him. And when we're able to do that and get us out on a break, we can be dynamic. Yeah, I would say the first play. Obviously, looked in rhythm there, but there was several defensive possessions where he got blocks. He looked like he was moving well. We were cautious to make sure we didn't keep his runs too long. Like he typically has. We'll build up to that. But I didn't think there was a moment other than a couple finishes around the basket, a short jumper that he missed, that he looked out of sync. You know what I mean? For the most part, he looked really good. And, those little finishes will come. It's just remarkable. I think the thing that you have to credit LeBron for during this stretch is his willingness to adapt, this late in his career. And our shift of our system of playing with an open paint, which is different than we've done the last couple of years. And his willingness to, not be the initiator with everything, but trusting his teammates, becoming a roller, getting other guys open because they don't want to leave him, or he's getting more pocket passes than he ever has in his career. But his willingness to shift in that way, and obviously his willingness to grow his 3-point game over the last few years has led to where he's at right now, which is, like he said, it's just a great rhythm. And he played remarkable really on both sides of the ball tonight.
All right, that's Lakers head coach Frank Vogel right there. 106-96 the final score. Lakers handle business against the Brooklyn Nets. 3 more games left on this road trip. Let me squeeze in a couple quick calls here. Let's go to Rick in Lawndale. Rick, what's going on? Thank you for calling in.
Good, thank you, and you do a great job as always.
Appreciate it, man.
There's no doubt that Russell is a great player, probably a Hall of Famer. His intensity is awesome. His speed and drive is unmatched, especially for his years now. The question that I have for him, and probably many of people, is questioning a Hall of Fame person has to have a better basketball IQ. There were many games where LeBron James was out and they trying to go for a win, and he dribbles out the clock. He takes ill-advised 3-pointers, which are not his shot. He needs to create his shots by driving to the basket and doing what he does best, and don't do these heroic 3-pointer outside shots for the win. They're just horrible decisions, and I expect more for a person who's going to be a Hall of Famer.
The one thing I will say, Rick, and I appreciate you calling in. So Russ in the second half, when he got traded to the Rockets, he was much better in the second half of the season than he was in the first half. When he was traded to the Wizards, he was much better in the second half of the season than he was in the first half. You expect that here in L.A. One of the reasons why I was excited that Russell Westbrook got traded to the Lakers, and listen, it hasn't panned out that way. So I got egg on my face, and I'm okay with that. But one of the reasons why I was excited about it was you're the third option. You're not going to have a lot of pressure on your shoulders. The pressure is really on LeBron James, and it's on Anthony Davis. You're 100% right. Russ does have to adjust his game. There are times where, what are the strengths to Russell Westbrook? If it's not jumpers and it's not three-point shots, it's okay to go away from that. If you are noticing that the amount of turnovers that you have in a game, you got to be more responsible with the ball. You can't be that careless with the ball. Turnovers how you lose games. And one individual player can't represent that percentage of turnovers. I heard somebody say, called in a little bit earlier, that LeBron's had more turnovers over this stretch here, however many games he was looking at. I get that part, but LeBron James is also literally carrying the team. When LeBron James comes out of a game, the Lakers team is completely different. If you had a 7-point lead, you probably have a 2-point lead by the time he comes back. That's not the same effectiveness as Russell Westbrook. And I'm not justifying turnovers, because I think turnovers, no matter whether you're LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, they're killers in a game. Russ has got to be better. His decision-making has to be better. Him playing to his strengths has to be better. All that has to be better. We're going to get a chance to hear from Russell Westbrook coming up next. Stay right here. Lakers lose to the Nets. Lakers beat the Nets 106-96. They're now 24-24 on the season. We're 48 games in on the season, 34 left to go. Stay right here. Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
5 breadsticks for my triple treat. 3 layers deep, 10 Cinnabon mini rolls to eat, and the pizza plus another pizza. Triple treat box, only from Pizza Hut.
The Rams are headed to the NFC Championship game.
And after one of the greatest playoff games in history, can you imagine? SoFi Stadium, the NFC Championship game, Rams-Niners. You want to be there to root on your Rams? We got the tickets, yo. Your only place to win is 710 ESPN, your home of Rams football. Listen all day Wednesday. A Rams Championship Wednesday with your chance to win tickets to the NFC Championship game.
This is the home of your LA Rams. 710 ESPN.
24 seconds with Trevor Ariza. Trevor, tacos or burgers?
I'm going to go with tacos.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
Favorite cheat meal?
Ooh, peanut butter and jelly.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Favorite Saturday morning cartoon growing up?
Animaniacs. Animaniacs.
Funniest player on the team?
Goofiest would be Dwight.
Favorite superhero?
Batman.
Is sponsored by Vista Paint. Right now, local residents can take 40% off on factory direct high-quality Vista Paint products. A Vista Paint team member will show you how. Locally owned, manufactured, and operated since 1956. Vista Paint. Lakers lose the points in the paint battle 52-46. They win the game 106-96 against Brooklyn. Back to 500 again. Can we please go through some type of stretch where the Lakers win 5 of 6 or 7 in a row or 7 of 8, something along those lines? We'll see. Obviously, having Anthony Davis's presence back, there's no more excuses left for the Lakers. Let's get one more quick call in here. Scooter in L.A. Scooter, thank you for calling in, bud. What's going on?
Hey, Alan. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, it's about that time, Alan. It's put up or shut up time for the Lakers, man. No more excuses. We got our full roster on the back, except for Kendrick. And quit playing the blame game, Russ or Vogel or Pelinka, man. And reality is we just had bad luck for the last 2 years, man. All the injuries and everything, So things just got to break the Lakers' way at some point in time, man. We got 34 games left. I think we need at least to win about 22 to have a good shot at of not planning to play in, and just go out there and string up some victories, and that's it.
Scooter, I appreciate you calling in. You know, I'll say this. Put everything aside, the injuries, all that. You just want to see some good basketball, too. I mean, how many times this year, and I said this a little bit earlier in the show, Laker fans were so hyped coming into this season, and it's been an incredibly disappointing season. You haven't really felt like there's something to be prideful about with this Lakers team. So let's see what they do. I think the first part from Scooter, put up or shut up, that's kind of the reality of the situation. They have enough games left to get into some type of rhythm, but there's also an incredibly tough schedule in front of them that if they play good basketball from this point on, that means they beat good teams and they earn the better seeding in the standings, and they have a legitimate shot against some of those other squads. If they're still playing 500 basketball, it kind of speaks for itself. All right, let's take a quick listen here. Here is Russell Westbrook on the 10-point win over the Nets.
Russ, just curious your initial thoughts on having AD back, how that changes you, and what's the most important part for you on both ends now that when he's on the court with you?
Just getting his rhythm back. You know, he was on the mid restriction tonight, but it's definitely different with his presence out there, protecting him, especially on defensive end. His offense will come. Part of that is just us playing and getting to a better rhythm, but it's good to see him back on the floor.
With AD's kind of fluidity on defense and the roles he can play, does it kind of feel like everything's kind of back in its place on defense and everyone can kind of play the defensive roles that they need to play when AD's in there?
It depends. Every night it changes based on who we're playing, personnel. So that all varies. We got our principles that we know that we can always stick to, but the schemes and kind of how we defend will change from night in, night out basis based on who we're playing.
Russ, I imagine coming off the loss was a motivating factor, and it seems like a lot of guys like to play in this building, but how much was the energy affected just by having AD for the first time in like 6 weeks?
I think it was good. Excited for not just him, but for everybody, our whole team to be able to, try to use him coming back as good energy, good vibes for our team, especially coming off a loss. So it was good.
Russ, to what degree do you feel like this team has been deprived of just even seeing the three of you guys together? And, we've talked about the sacrifice you have to make, and just trying to get those fundamentally those three pieces to figure it out and to, be in harmony. And do you feel like maybe this team has been judged? How do you feel about the way this team has been judged in the fact that you haven't had those pieces?
They really don't really matter at this point, kind of what other people may think of our team and our judge. It doesn't really matter. Ultimately, what matters is us internally, what we trying to figure out by having myself, Brian, and AD on the floor at the same time for some consistent amount of games. So hopefully we can be able to string together some games together and figure out and create a rhythm as we kind of move into the second half of the season.
Russ, maybe it's obvious, but how has, to kind of piggyback off of what Bill asked, how has not, I think tonight is the 16th time this year the three of you guys have played together in the regular season. How has that affected internally, like the ability to kind of know even what you guys have or what you guys are? And when you're able to do it, even though this is a single game, does that give you clarity kind of as you try to figure that part of it out?
What's the question?
I'll have to start over.
Yeah, damn right. Too long. Get to your point.
I guess internally, not having the whole group together. You said, the way you guys have judged who you are. How has that been affected by guys being in and out? I'll stop there.
It's better. I think for us, we know what our capabilities are, but honestly, we still have to figure out, spaces on the floor, what sets to call, kind of our rotations, figuring out what that looks like. Even tonight was different because AD was on the mini restriction, so that kind of changes knowing who you're going to be on the floor with. And all that takes a part of kind of how you play, at least for me, how I orchestrate the game from my position, being able to kind of see what lineups that will be on the floor and, which ones are most effective. So we understand that internally. That's why we just keep our head down and keep moving forward to making sure that we can try to figure it out and keep, striving towards doing that.
Great exchange there.
All right, that is Russell Westbrook right there, giving his thoughts on the Lakers' 10-point win against the Brooklyn Nets. All right, we'll do a couple things here coming back. Look at some scores around the NBA. We'll take a look at the Lakers' upcoming schedule as well. We'll do all that coming up next. Stay right here. This is the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
5 breadsticks for my triple treat. 3 layers deep. 10 Cinnabon mini rolls to eat. And the pizza plus another pizza. Triple treat box, only from Pizza Hut.
The Rams are headed to the NFC Championship game.
And after one of the greatest playoff games in history, can you imagine? SoFi Stadium, the NFC Championship game, Rams-Niners. You want to be there to root on your Rams? We got the tickets, yo. Your only place to win is 710 ESPN, your home of Rams football. Listen all day Wednesday. A Rams Championship Wednesday with your chance to win tickets to the NFC Championship game.
This is the home of your LA Rams. 710 ESPN.
24 seconds with Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo, tacos or burgers?
Burgers.
Pineapple on pizza?
Sometimes.
Favorite cheat meal?
Pizza.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Favorite Saturday morning cartoon?
Kung Fu flicks.
Funniest player on the team?
Dwight.
Teammate who thinks he's the funniest player on the team?
Nobody really thinks they funny.
Your favorite superhero?
I'm a Captain America guy.
I mean, you got to match the initials too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a Captain America guy.
HIMS.com/JOY.
This is the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show.
Highlights from tonight's Lakers game and your reaction on the Lakers line. Powered by Pizza Hut. Try the new Detroit style from Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Hi, this is Anthony Davis of your Los Angeles Lakers.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
It's time for Lakers postgame with Sliwa.
Now, here's Alan Sliwa.
106-96. Lakers handle the Brooklyn Nets in Brooklyn. LeBron James goes off for 33 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocked shots. Anthony Davis makes his return, 17 games out with the Lakers. Went 7-10 in that stretch. The Lakers did without AD. 8 points, 4 blocked shots for Anthony Davis. Perfectly on cue here. LeBron James and Anthony Davis both addressing the media right now. Let's take a listen.
About the two kind of free safety plays and how much of that was scheme and switching up with Harden and traps, and how much you just were reading the way that play was evolving.
Just kind of channeling my inner Ed Reed at that point in time, kind of playing the pass lanes and seeing, the direction of the ball, but just trying to be in the right place to protect my teammates while we were in coverage and doing some of the things we were doing defensively. So I was able to pick 6 2 of them in a row.
spent a lot of time talking about AD being out of the lineup for the last 17. What was the most immediate thing that you noticed tonight?
Just his presence alone. He just makes our team so much more complete. Our length defensively, our ability to really get up in people's faces because we know we got him at the rim, or our ability to switch a lot of things because he can literally guard 1 through 5. Offensively, it just attracts another set of eyes off of myself, off of Russ, off of Melo, off of Malik, off of everybody because he's such a dynamic player. Obviously, right away you see what he's capable of. Right, we draw a play right out of right to start the game, and I was able to turn the corner and threw a late lob, and he was still able to throw it home. So very excited to have him back.
Got a question for AD. As LeBron just mentioned, you score on that dunk. You had, I think, a handful of blocks. You seemed pretty comfortable out there. How much work were you able to get in prior to this return? And there's still a minutes restriction. Frank said there's gonna be some time to get you back adjusted, but how ready do you feel right now to give this team what it needs?
I feel ready. We don't practice much, so I didn't have much practice time, but was able to still get some one-on-one, 2-on-2s in and see how I felt. Was ready enough to go tonight. I don't know about the whole minute restriction thing. I think that might, for me, come off. I might tell them I don't need that, but we'll see. Obviously, we have a back-to-back coming up, and want to play that smart. But for the most part, I felt fine. I felt great out there, and the first couple minutes, the adrenaline took over, and then after that went away. The wind caught up to me. When I got my second window, I was fine for the rest of the game. So, see how it reacts tomorrow. First live action, and go from there.
AD, what was there a particular play or a particular sequence that you kind of said, okay, I can do this, or my body feels right when I do this action? And then when you kind of look into these games coming up, how much is your mentality kind of using some of those games to get the conditioning back, get the wind back, and kind of find maybe your legs, as you put it?
Yeah, until I get my legs, I got to use these games to get my legs. But I don't think about it when I'm playing. I don't want to, babysit. If I feel like I got to babysit it, then I shouldn't be on the floor. And so when I'm out there playing, I just try to go out there and do what I got to do to help the team win. And, let the rest just take care of itself. I don't think, this move bothered me before. Don't do it. I just go out there and just play.
LeBron, we've talked a lot about trying to imagine what this team could be like when it gets to full strength, and I know Kendrick's not back yet, but there was a play early in the first quarter. I think AD forces a Harden miss. Russ gets the rebound, starts fast break, hits you with a bounce pass, and it was a quick layup, quick 2 points. How important is it for you guys to start seeing just the three of you guys together more regularly as you move forwards? And does that just help internally as you guys navigate this stuff to have real evidence?
Yeah, the more minutes that we log, we continue to see how dynamic we can be, both offensively and defensively. And, and it also puts everybody in their, just their regular, positions. So, I remember that play, exactly what you're talking about. And it was great to just see that sequence and be a part of it. But, the more minutes that we log, as AD get back into full strength and the game shape, and we just try to stay in rhythm as a team. We want to continue to work our habits, but along the way, we want to win ball games as well. So, we look forward to our next challenge. We're playing against a great Philly team. It's been playing exceptional basketball. Got one of the hottest guys in the league in Joel. So, as we continue to get better, we want to continue to log these minutes and see what happens next.
This one's for AD. What have the last 6 weeks been like for you? We haven't obviously talked to you since Chicago, and just sort of the ramp-up process of what you were kind of able to progressively do over these last few weeks.
I think the most part we're just trying to get the pain to go away. I think, the first week and a half, I was able to do, single leg squats, 2-leg squats, able to run a little bit. So I was moving ahead of pace, and then met with the doctors, I think after the 4-week period. Was able to get out of the brace, walk around without it, kind of go on court and work out without it. And then it was just about, feel for me if I was comfortable enough to go out there and play. And after the 2-on-2 I had in Miami with DJ Bays and Wayne, I felt very comfortable to play tonight. So that's kind of been, what it was. And but it was a great rehab. Was able to get my body fully right, and now we move forward.
Do we have any more questions for LeBron before we let him go? Because I know you guys have questions. They have more questions for you because you're
LeBron, last year you guys were in a somewhat similar position where you had injuries and you kind of had to use the regular season as sort of the playoffs started a lot earlier for you. Do you view this year similar to kind of what you guys had to do last year getting into the play-in at all, or is it are there comparisons you went through?
No, because every season has its own challenges. Every season is different. So, I don't compare last season to this season or the year before. The year before that to this one. We've all had, just the challenge that we had this year has been different from any other challenge, from injuries to safe health protocols and suspensions and things of that nature. So, at the end of the day, you keep the main thing, and that's how we continue to get better for each other in house and stay even keeled throughout the whole process and continue to work the habits. I think we have a really good team, and when we have full strength, we can be really good. But it's not about the conversation; it's about the in between the four lines. It's about when we get on the floor, how can we make it happen, and that's all that matters.
LeBron, going back to your free safety role, and personally, I can't think of a better safety than Ed Reed. Does AD's presence kind of allow you to play that a little more, and how does he add to the defensive energy of the team? Frank was saying you guys were kind of feeling that all morning.
As much as I would love to get AD credit, he was not on the floor when I did that. He ran on the floor. He ran on the floor after I did that when the timeout happened, but he was not on the floor when that happened. But, when you got a every year potential defensive player of the year on the floor at whatever his minutes is, you can definitely get away with some things you wouldn't try if he's not on the floor, because you got the protection behind you or in front of you or whatever the case may be. So I've never been a gambler and things of that nature anyways. When it comes to basketball, I've always tried to be as solid as possible, and I've been taught that my whole life. And if I have an opportunity to shoot the passing lane or shoot the gaps or whatever the case may be, do it. But you definitely would take more chances when you got, a guy like AD behind you, for sure.
Last question for LeBron.
LeBron, another 30-point game. You talked about, this season preventing challenges unlike any other season before. Have you told yourself or had a conversation about your approach this season, if it's been different for you, specifically offensively?
I basically just told myself nothing else matters besides what you do out on the floor and how you continue to lead these guys. It doesn't matter the conversations that's going on outside of our locker room and, the narration of our ball club or whatever is going on, the injuries, all of that stuff. Nothing else matters besides what I bring to the table every single night. How positive I can continue to lead these guys no matter the outcome. If I have a position to play this game the way I do, then go out and make the most of it. So stay low and keep firing is the motto I've been on for I don't know however long it's been, but I don't have an excuse, and I won't make one.
Thanks, LJ. More questions for
Love you guys.
The tape off.
Yeah.
Right shit.
LeBron's the only one.
That's fine.
With the weak shit.
Don't panic.
Your thoughts on the NFL playoffs this past week?
You know what? I love your green, actually. A little bit of yellow make it better. I don't know. It's It was tough. I cried.
I'm so excited.
Dan, what do you
Robbie Gold, huh? That's great. Jimmy Garoppolo. Anyways, what was it like for you kind of watching LeBron offensively during the 17 games you were out? And I guess, what was it also? Obviously, he was playing very well, but the team was 7-10. What was sort of that like for you to watch them kind of struggle to find their way?
I think the most frustrating part was just that we'll have really good games where we play great offensively and defensively, and then we'll follow it up with a really bad game. So I think that was the most frustrating. But to see Bron do what he's been doing is unreal. It's just surprising because, 19 years in, he's still able to do what he's doing. So it's fun to watch. All of us is up cheering for him, and he get in these zones. I know he talked about it, where he just go in kill mode. And it's fun to watch, especially just sitting on the sideline where you can examine it, from afar and just kind of, you really don't have to lock in because I wasn't playing. So it's just like, now I'm a fan and just like, wow, and so it was fun to watch. Now it's, trying to complement that, where he don't have to feel as much pressure or have to carry such load. It's my job and Russ' job and everybody's job to kind of just take that pressure off him and just help him.
To that point, watching from the bench, Coach AD, is a lot of people are calling you. Is there, aside from what you saw from LeBron, is there anything that you learned about this team and changed how you're approaching your return, if you will?
Yeah, we struggled a little bit on defense. We wasn't talking. Guys weren't in the right position. So I tried to come in tonight and just quarterback the whole defense. And then also the way we were playing offensively was really good. The things we were doing, the adjustments that we made, playing the 5-out offense and guys running to the screens, Brown and Melo, it kind of confused people. And so I tried to do the same thing. His first game back wasn't trying to get in too many ISOs or force up shots. So trying to screen, roll, and put guys in position where the entire team could be successful. And I was able to do that tonight. We were able to do that tonight, and which led us to a win.
I'll take 2 more for Haiti. Gentleman in there. And then Bill, you can the gentleman. I'm sorry, the gentleman to Brown. Yeah, and then Bill, you can take the last question. You don't need to. Okay.